What happens when a character's worst enemy is themselves? In the Amazing Digital Circus, there's one figure who stands apart from everyone else, not because he's the funniest or the most likable, but because he's systematically destroying himself from the inside out. Jax isn't just mean for laughs. There's a psychological unraveling happening right before our eyes, and most viewers are missing it completely. Today, we're dissecting why this purple rabbit might be the most tragically complex character in modern indie animation, and why his inevitable breakdown is entirely his own doing. Let's dive in. When we first meet Jax through Pomni's eyes, he seems straightforward enough. He's sarcastic, antagonistic, and enjoys making others uncomfortable. Think of him as that person who mistakes cruelty for personality. Early on, it's easy to write him off as the designated troublemaker, someone who exists purely to create conflict and comedic tension. But here's where things get interesting. The show doesn't present characters at face value. Just like the circus itself is more than colorful chaos, every character has layers we need to peel back. And Jax? He's got more layers than anyone initially realizes. Pay attention to who Jax targets and how he does it. This isn't random bullying. There's specificity to his cruelty. Look at his treatment of Gangle. He doesn't just occasionally mess with her. He systematically breaks her comedy mask, attacks her emotionally, and seems almost driven to keep her in a state of misery. Why? What does he gain from this? The answer isn't as simple as he's just a jerk. Watch his behavior closely, and you'll notice something unsettling. Jax is working at being cruel. It takes effort. It's deliberate, and that deliberateness suggests something deeper, something he's trying to accomplish, or perhaps something he's trying to avoid feeling. Episode 5 changes everything. We start seeing environmental storytelling that recontextualizes Jax's entire character. That door with the crossed-out frog symbol, that's not random decoration. Someone named Ribbit clearly mattered in Jax's past, and their absence haunts the narrative in subtle ways. Similarly, his connection to Kaufmo, another abstracted character, hints at relationships we never saw. Jax had friends once. He had connections. So what happened? What transforms someone capable of caring into someone who acts like caring is a weakness. This is where the show's brilliance shines. It forces us to rewatch earlier episodes with new context, and suddenly Jax's behavior reads completely differently. Here's where we get to Jax's worldview, and it's genuinely disturbing. He's essentially adopted a philosophy of consequence-free existence. In his mind, the digital circus is a place where nothing matters, so why should he behave morally? Everyone's trapped, nothing's real, so traditional ethics don't apply. This is textbook nihilism, but here's the twist. He doesn't actually believe it. If Jax truly thought nothing mattered, he wouldn't put so much energy into antagonizing others. True nihilists are apathetic, but Jax is the opposite of apathetic. He's intensely engaged in making others miserable, which means he does care. He cares enough to hurt people, which means those people matter to him in some twisted way. And then we get that moment, the scene that reframes everything. You know the one, when the cocky grin falls away and we see something raw underneath. Pain, exhaustion, maybe even self-hatred. This is a character who's been performing, and the performance is cracking. All that cruelty, it's a defense mechanism. All that detachment, it's a lie he tells himself to avoid confronting something unbearable. We're watching someone who chose to become the villain of his own story because it felt safer than being vulnerable. And that's genuinely tragic. Compare Jax to literally anyone else in the circus. Ragatha processes her trauma through optimism and helping others. Kinger works through his grief in small, meaningful moments. Gangle, despite everything, keeps trying to find joy. Even Zubul, who's openly cynical, still engages honestly with their emotions. Everyone else is healing in their own messy way. But Jax, he's chosen stagnation wrapped in toxicity. He's actively fighting against growth because growth means acknowledging pain, and acknowledging pain means facing what he's done, both what happened to him and what he's done to others. That's the real tragedy. He's trapped himself more effectively than the circus ever could. Pomni represents everything Jax can't accept. She's openly confused, openly struggling, and openly connecting with others despite, or maybe because of, her vulnerability. She's the mirror that shows Jax exactly what he's refusing to do. Every time she reaches out to someone, every time she shows compassion or asks genuine questions, it's a challenge to Jax's entire worldview. It proves that another path exists. And that makes her dangerous to him, not physically, but psychologically. She's dismantling his carefully constructed defenses simply by being authentic. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Trauma doesn't excuse harm. Jax has clearly been through something devastating, but he's chosen to respond by perpetuating pain rather than processing it. This happens in real life too. People who've been hurt sometimes hurt others as a way to feel control or avoid their own vulnerability. Jax is a fictional example of a very real psychological pattern, and the show doesn't let him off the hook for it. His suffering explains his behavior, but doesn't justify it. He's made choices, bad ones, and those choices have consequences. The path to abstraction he's on, that's self-inflicted. Every mean comment, every act of sabotage, every moment he chose isolation over connection, that's him digging his own grave. So why should we care about a character who's essentially his own worst enemy? Because he's compelling because of his flaws, not despite them. Jax represents the possibility of redemption and the risk of self-destruction existing simultaneously. We don't know which path he'll take. Will he eventually break down those walls and face himself, or will he abstract, unable to handle the truth? That tension makes him fascinating to watch. He's not a simple villain or a misunderstood hero. He's a complex, flawed individual making terrible decisions in real time. And honestly, that feels more human than most perfect characters ever do. Jax is a masterclass in character writing, someone who hides profound pain behind caustic humor, who's actively self-destructing while blaming everyone else, and who might just be running out of time to change course. Whatever happens in future episodes will be fascinating because it's genuinely unpredictable. The beauty of this character is that he exists in that uncomfortable gray area between villain and victim. He's not evil incarnate, but he's not innocent either. He's just human in the most flawed way possible. And that's what makes him so compelling to analyze and discuss. What really gets me is how the show doesn't give us easy answers. It presents Jax's situation and lets us grapple with the complexity of it all. Can someone who's caused so much pain to others truly come back from that? Does understanding his trauma change how we judge his actions? These are questions without simple solutions, and that's exactly why this character works so brilliantly. The next few episodes are going to be critical. We're watching someone on the edge, and every interaction could be the one that pushes him toward redemption or toward complete abstraction. The writers have set up something genuinely special here, a character arc that could go either way, and both outcomes would feel earned based on what we've seen. But here's my question for you. Do you think Jax can be redeemed? Is there still time for him to choose differently, or has he gone too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your perspectives on this. Do you see him as someone worth saving, or has he burned too many bridges? If you enjoyed this analysis and want more deep dives into animation, storytelling, and character psychology, hit that subscribe button. It helps me know what content resonates with you and lets me create more of what you actually want to see. Seriously, your support makes these videos possible and tells me you're hungry for more character breakdowns like this. And hey, if you think I missed something important about Jax's character, or you have your own theory about where his arc is heading, I'd love to hear it. The comment section is where the real discussion happens. So don't be shy. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.